go find my last post and let everybody know that I'm live. Also need to figure out where is my chat. I need to find my chat. We're live. We talked about the React announcement, Angular follow-ups, and work on some Astro. Okay, might just need to move this over. Well, I'm live, that's for sure. Let's move the chat over here, see what happens. All right, I think I'm live. I think everything's good. Made the announcement. Let's hang for a minute. I'm gonna read this article while we're going. And if anybody joins in while we're doing it. Oh, I forgot to post to LinkedIn. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. Let's go find the profile. Where was the post? All right, there it is. We're live. React announcement, then dive into what we would do. Come hang out. All right. Oh, hi Jessica. Thanks for the bless you. Well, we're gonna check out this new stuff. I love new announcements. It's always nice when we hear it from the React team after so long. Let's see what's going on. The React compiler. It's no longer a project and it's working on Instagram. Let's go. That's huge. This was like the big thing to the next major release is what I was understanding. Oh yeah, right? They're getting ready for React Conf. That should be a lot of fun. So let's see. In the previous post, they're talking about too much re-rendering. The API means applying all this stuff. Manual minimization is compromised. Cluttered upper code. Yep. I hate everything about what this paragraph's about. So now I'm very curious what they're doing. We believe that React UI is a simple function of state with standard JavaScript values and idioms is a part of why React has been approached by so many developers. That's why we've invested in building and optimizing the compiler for React. Yep. JS is notoriously challenging languages to optimize thanks to loose rules and dynamic nature. The React compiler is able to compile code safely by modeling both the rules of JavaScript and the rules of React. For example, React components must be add component, returning the same value given the same inputs, and can't mutate props or state values. These rules limit what developers can do and help to carve out a safe space for the compiler to optimize. That makes sense. Can I explain more about manual minimization? I don't think I understand what they mean there. Okay, yeah. So manual minimization here is these three functions. You might have seen them in code bases, you maybe didn't, but minimization. It's this idea that if you run something once and then you run it again, rather than actually recomputing the value a second time, you read it out of cache. That's all that fancy word means. So the idea here is like when I'm writing my React components, let's actually pull up some code for a second, maybe. We need to pull up, we'll pull up the stuff from last week because I'm going to go there eventually. Although it's not going to like this because we're writing React code. But like, so when you're writing a React component, let's say my component, and we can change the language mode to React just because we want to be nice. Sometimes you would write something like, you have a next function. Like, let's say you have like a previous next function for pagination. You might use callback, right? And this is just going to do a computed state based off of maybe the current index, so or the page you're on, or per page. Like maybe you have to recompute what this function does at this point. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to make this as user-friendly as humanly possible. Like let's not make it so developers have to think about this stuff. This is optimization. This is trying to make your code faster. And what they're saying is like, this is clunky. This is harder to read. People have to think about this. People have been misusing this. There's a whole conversation about like people write components like this. So you have this use memo, and like you'll write your whole component in here at some point, and maybe it's just an SVG component because those tend to memo really well. Like this would be an okay use case of it. And if you actually go, let's go to react.dev for a second. Because I know it's true about react.dev, except that react.dev repo. Here we go. I know this is true because I wrote it. There is examples of use memo inside of this code base. So if we go to the icons specifically, you can see, unless Dan got rid of it. Yeah, no, here it is. So like we're memoizing these components because they just do not change. The only thing that changes about these is if the parameters for whatever reason get passed in, and or the CSS changes, but the CSS is external to the React component itself. So this is like an example of like, we don't need to recompute this component anytime it's re-rendered. We just avoid the re-render altogether because it's not going to change. So that's the idea of this component, so to speak. And that's the idea of the memo. So that's kind of what they're saying. Hopefully you get the picture, but if not, we can do more examples. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a compiler that just detects these spaces and things for you so you don't have to write any of it. And I think that's really cool. So, you know, we got to bend the rules, but they're trying to make the compiler so it just does this. And that's what this paragraph's all about. And they've been testing it, and this has been what the last 3 like blog posts they've talked about, all their posts on Twitter have been about. Like, it's how do we solve this problem? Like, how do we create this compiler in a way that doesn't drive us all nuts? So, so what are they saying? For developers curious about making sure their code follows React rules, strict mode, and configuring the ESLint plugin. Yep, we know about these. We can catch the subtle bugs. If you're writing React code and you don't have these 2 things, well, I don't care about strict mode as much, but the ESLint plugin, that thing is amazing. They put a lot of thought and love into it. Use it. It's a recommendation for a reason. And this future-proofs your applications from using for the upcoming features. Yeah, I agree with that. They're also working to consolidate documentation of the rules React and update to the ESLint to make sure teams understand and apply these rules. Love that. This was the talk. I watched this before. We have an ad. Oh, no, this is not an ad. I don't know. Oh, y'all won't be able to hear this because I have my volume off. Let me turn my system volume back on for a minute. I'll be nice. I want it off because I don't like to I like to listen to music while I talk to y'all. So hopefully if I turn the volume on, it is not that one.
Meta,
it's that one.
Automatically memoizes your components and hooks.
Hopefully you can hear this now.
So if you're hoping for us to be open sourcing Forget today,
so
I am development. Specifically, I'm talking about React Forget. Forget is a compiler that we've built at Meta that automatically memoizes your components and hooks. So if you're hoping for us...
So yeah, so that's the thing they're doing. And then I think what's cool is, this is a great example.
Platform. So in a lot of ways, this is React at its best. UI as a simple function of data. There's really only one potential problem with this code. If we were to ship this as is, we might see that parts of our app re-render unnecessarily, and that can affect performance, slowing things down. So let's see an example of how that can happen. Imagine that our component re-renders, but only the heading has actually changed. When the component re-renders, it passes that new heading down to the heading component, which updates as we'd expect. But that's not all that happens by default. when our component re-renders, the entire component reruns. This entire function reruns. That means we create a new filtered videos list, and then we pass that to video list, which then also re-renders all the way down the.
So I'm going to pause it there. Basically, he's talking about the fact that anytime this component, video tab, has to re-render, this code right here, this for and this if loop, they have to run. It's unavoidable as written. Now, the way, and he'll probably jump to it in a second. Yeah. So the way to fix it is you would memoize this. So it only runs if one of these two things changes. So like if the heading changed, which is what his example was about, this part wouldn't rerun, and you wouldn't have to rerun that part of the tree.
Here tells React to, by default, React will still.
So what he's trying to do, or what they're going to try and do, is they're going to try and make this memoizable by default. And so instead of you having to write the use memo or the React memo, the compiler is just going to do it for you. And now you don't have to think about this stuff. And I think that's really cool, because some of the most atrocious buggy code I've personally experienced in production comes from the use of this hook and the use effect hook. Use callback is used relatively reasonably when I see it, but use memo is usually overused. So check out this talk. I'm not going to watch it, the whole thing, but this is just a really great explanation of like what they're talking about here and what's coming out. I think that's awesome. I think we're all super excited about that. Okay, what's this thing about actions? We previously shared that we are exploring options for sending data from the client to the server with server actions, so that you could do database mutations and implementation forms during development of server actions. We extended these APIs to support data handling in the client-only applications as well. Yeah, we've seen this. People have been using it. We used it on the stream the last couple times I did React. So this is great. So now what they're doing, the action function can operate synchronously or asynchronously. Cool. You can define them on the client side using standard JavaScript or on the server with the use server directive. Yeah, no, this all makes sense to me. And then when you're using the action, React will manage the lifecycle of the data submission for you, providing hooks like use form status or use form state to access this stuff. Okay, this all makes sense to me. The one thing that maybe is missing from this article that they should mention is that these two hooks only work on the client. They do not work on the server. In fact, hooks don't work on the server. So I think this is a little bit of a misleading statement in that way, but it's correct. It's factually correct. You just have to know, your nuance. Okay. By default, actions are submitted with a transition, keeping the current page interactive while the action is processing. Since actions support async functions, we've also made the async await. Yep, this is all really cool. This is all the pending state, transition, async, and fetch. This is all cool. This is all supported in Next.js today. This is what's been in the Canary for months. So if you haven't played with that, something to play with. Alongside actions, we've introduced a new feature called Use Optimistic for managing optimistic state updates. With this hook, you can apply temporary. Oh, this is totally been a missing feature. So what this hook is doing is, let's say this is something that existed in Apollo server, and I think it exists in React Query. I've just never used it in React Query. But the idea is, it's a great name because it is optimistic. So the idea here is you're going to assume your request is going to work. Okay? No matter what happens, you're just going to assume it's going to work. And what it's going to do is it's going to show the next state, assuming that the API request finishes successfully. So you're going to have to be careful with this. And I'm actually curious what this links out to and how the docs work. Yeah, it's only in Canary, which means it's going to be in Next.js tomorrow. Maybe if it's not there already, but it's, here's the state, here's the current. So you use whatever the current state of something is, and then you take its current state and what you want the optimistic value is, and that's going to return what the optimistic state is and how to trigger it. So it's like a use mutation. This is cool. I like this. This is really great for like to do MVC type apps where you want the to show up and be interactable right away and not wait for the full API cycle to come back. So neat. I like it. I like features like this. Library authors can implement custom action function props in their own components with use transition. That's been around for a while, or at least the concept has been around a while of both of these. Our intent is for libraries to adopt the actions pattern when designing their components API to provide a consistent experience for React developers. For example, if your library provides a calendar on select event handler component, consider also exposing a calendar select action. Okay, this is going to be nice because I think this has been one of the many issues. There's been many issues. This is one of them where our friends over at like React Query and other open source libraries have just really, really struggled getting their features fully functioning and backwards compatible with React server components. This should fix that problem for them. Now they can take either the client side handler or this server action handler. I think that's neat. When we initially focused on server actions for client-side data infrastructure, our philosophy for React is to provide the same programming model across all platforms and environment. When possible, if we introduce a feature on the client, we aim to make it also work on the server, and vice versa. That's a good philosophy. This philosophy allows us to create a single set of APIs that work no matter where your app runs, making it easier to upgrade to different environments later. Actions are now on the Canary. Woohoo! We like everything here. Although I feel like actions has been... Maybe this is different than the action that has existed. Actually, let's go prove this out. Let's go make sure I'm not full of crap. Because sometimes I am. So if we go look at... I had a form component somewhere. Oh! Wait. No. I was about to say I'm full of crap, but I'm looking at it, and I remember explicitly doing this to prove a point. Let's go to the Next.js docs, because I know for sure that they're gonna prove whether or not I'm full of crap or not. No, yeah, they've been using action, so that's been in the Canary for, or at least maybe Next.js has had their own version of this available. So okay, that's cool. I like this. This is neat. What's new in the Canary? So we've known about this for a long time. Canaries are a change to the way we develop. Okay, so this, I feel like I'm having smoke blown up my butt for a minute. This has been true for months. What have you added? Directives. Use client, use server are bundler features designed for full stack React frameworks. They mark the split points between two environments. Use client instructs the bundler to generate script tag like Asher Islands, while use server tells the bundler to generate a post endpoint like TRPC mutations together that let you write. We've had this. I think what's weird is you think you could put a use server on top of a component, but you can't. It's only for functions. So something to just be aware of if you see this. So that's a weird behavior. Document metadata. We added built-in support for rendering title, meta, and metadata link tags anywhere in your component tree. Nice. This is what was React Helmet, and that was a great library. So I like that this is first class now. We integrated suspense with loading lifecycle of resources such as style sheet, fonts, scripts. This is super powerful. I'm curious how this impacts things like Next.js, because I had a problem just last week where or maybe it was 2 weeks ago now, where I was putting a script tag in the head and I was having a bunch of rendering issues. I actually broke Cypress as a result. And that was super frustrating. So I'm curious if this is going to fix that. Something to play with. And we knew about all these already. Since all these features work together, it's difficult to put them into the stable channel. Okay. With releasing actions without the complementary hooks for accessing form states would limit the practical usability of actions. Introducing server components without integrating server actions would complicate modifying data on the server. I 100% agree with them. That's a total good reason not to put them in the stable channel. Before we can release this set of features to the stable channel, we need to ensure that they work cohesively. Developers have everything they need to use them in production. They said this in that talk I linked earlier. They didn't say it here, but this means that everything at Meta has to be using these in production. And that just means we're going to be waiting a little bit longer. Although the whole fact that Instagram is now using all this is really cool. But they think the current set of features in React Canary are complete and ready to release. I think that's great. I think they're just, again, doing that proving out cycle that I just mentioned. All right, here's what we're looking for. This was the announcement. After a couple of years of iteration, Canary is now ready to ship to the latest. The new features mentioned above are compatible with any environment your app runs in, providing everything for production use. Since asset loading and document metadata may be breaking change for some apps, the next version of React will be a major release. There's still more to be done to prepare for the release. In React 19, we're also adding long requested improvements which require breaking changes, like support for web components. Oh, this is huge. This is the thing that people have been wanting for so long. That's going to be amazing. I am super curious to see what happens here. Our focus now is to land these changes, prepare for release, finalize docs for the new features, and publish for what's included. I love it. We'll share more information about everything React 19 includes, how to adopt, and how to build support for React components in the coming months. How long is this? This is the question. I want this to be 1 month. I want this to be April. I want to come back from my honeymoon and this be done. This is what I want. And then one more thing they said is off-screen, renamed to activity. Since our last update, we've renamed a capability we're researching from off-screen to activity. The name off-screen implied that it only applied to parts of the app that were not visible, but while researching the feature, we realized it's possible for parts of the app to be visible and inactive, such as content behind a modal. The new name most closely reflects the behavior of marking certain parts of the app active or inactive. Okay. Activity is still under research, and our remaining work is to finalize the primitives that are exposed to a library developer. We've deprioritized this area while we focus on shipping features that are more complete. I'm okay with this decision. I don't know how important this was. React Portal kind of takes care of this. Don't love the name, but we'll accept it. And we got some cool announcements. This is neat. React 19's been announced. Now we just got to figure out when it's going to happen. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I'm going to turn off the volume real quick so I can put my music back on. Cool. Sorry, I missed my music. This is cool. I'm really excited about this. This is a really awesome release. And after, I don't know, over a year of silence, this is... Actually, how many days has it been since the last release of React? No, not that one. I'm trying to remember. It's been quite some time. Yeah, it's been a year and a half, almost 2 years since the last release of React. So this is massive. I don't know about y'all, but this is going to be a great start. All right. Oh yeah, somebody else shared this with me and I was just curious about it. So we're going to look at it for a minute. Tempo, the easiest way to work with dates. I don't know how this is different than date FNS or anything, but somebody sent it to me and I was like, okay, let me look at it. Tempo is a new library in the proud tradition of JavaScript date and time libraries inspired by the likes of Moment, Day, and Date FNS. Tempo is built from the ground up to be as small and easy to use as possible, including first-class support for time zone operations. This sounds like the promise that we've been wanting every time I see a new datetime object. I do like this. They're just operating on the internal datetime object. I think that's... I feel like this is normal. This very much looks like date FNS. What? Okay, tell me you have a difference. Like, what's... No? Are we not going to talk about how this is different than date FNS? Well, this feels like a stream of its own, and I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole. I'm going to be honest about that. Date FNS was a lot more purple. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, this looks great. This is... Oh, okay. I guess this is the thing that's different. They have the internationalization out of the box. That's cool. That's something I've never liked about date FNS. Like you always, anytime you do data FNS, you have to get the data FNS time zone library, which is not first class supported. I don't know if you knew that. You have to, it's not supported by the same team. It's in a different repo by a different author. So like if that gets out of date for whatever reason, that's no bueno. And I like that this is using the built-in browser supported utilities. So this is cool. Hey, things are just getting so much better. Aren't we happy? I wonder if this works on the server or if this is very browser locked. I bet this works on the server though. Well, neat. We got a new library, y'all. This looks very promising. Well, that was a fun tangent. I hope everybody had a good week. What were y'all doing since last week? Anybody got anything exciting or new that they were doing? Anything they want to share? Love to hear about it. Also, just double checking. We might have a fun guest show up sometime today. I was talking to the one and only Chris DeMars, and he might join us for a little bit. He was having some issues with Astro, and it might be fun for him and I to like debug his stuff on stream. But for this week's stream, or for what we're going to start with today, at least, is I'm just going to finish up what we were doing last week. I messed up. I do that. So if y'all remember last week when we were working together, actually, what am I using on this project? I'm using NPM. Okay. So last week when we were working on this, and I might have fixed it off stream. And if I did, I will. Yeah. So this is where we ended last week's stream. This was the code. And let's see. Let's open up our server. So things are kind of not working as we saw. And you can see things aren't here. Nothing's here, and this is kind of sad. And we're like, wait, where's our data? Where's the stuff we wanted? Well, turns out I should have stuck with this just a touch longer. So if we would have actually inspected our response a little closer, which I didn't do last week. So here's our object, and if we look at it, I just went to here to just the products. If we go to the nodes here, like this, turns out that's where they were. So I just forgot a word last week. It wasn't that I didn't understand RxJS or anything. I was figuring it out. This subscribe, and I actually talked to some Angular experts. This is the right way to do it, to just subscribe. Now, I'm not using all the new fancy syntaxes, and we had some of those correct. But if we look now, I have all of these great titles of products, and things are working, and we're really happy about that because now we can actually see everything working. I learned 2 more things though, and I want to share those because I'm all about making sure I'm sharing best practices with y'all. So let's do that. The first was I showed this to my Angular developer friends who were like, yeah, you could do that. But the second you have to rely on inputs or any other injectables into your component, this isn't going to work anymore. And I was like, oh, really? And they were like, yeah, check out ng on init. And so that's what we're going to do. So on init method runs after Angular has initialized all the component inputs with their initial values. A component's ng on init runs exactly once. We like that. We don't like things to run twice, especially when it's like initializing. Right? This step happens before the component's own template is initialized. This means you can update the component state based on the initial input values. We also want this. So we're going to try and do this real quick because I think that would be a great way to just like fix what I've been doing. So in theory, I don't have to do my constructor, and I should be able to just do ng on init like this and do the exact same code. And in theory, what should happen is we should see nothing different. Now, the one thing we are seeing is like some states and some permutations of that state. So let's go back to where it was. It was in our homepage component, but it was in the template. So if y'all remember, I put a defer around the app carousel. So we were seeing that full load. And as you can see, it kind of we went from nothing to something very quickly. Now, I think one of the things I want to figure out with all this defer stuff as well is how do we make it actually wait on this? Because if we look at how it was working before, it was the same. So we haven't had any difference, but ideally, I would want my defer, assuming I built it correctly the first time, and maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm doing the wrong defer, but my hope would be that this wouldn't resolve until this resolved. So I'm probably missing something, and I don't know what that something is yet. So this is something I want to look into and learn more about. But these are the things that I said I wasn't really in the mood or had the energy for today. So I'm going to stop the Angular stuff here today. Going to be honest, pretty low energy this week. It's been a long week. I've had a rough week. That happens sometimes. So I'm not really in the mood to do a ton of personal learning and try to grok my head around concepts. And I hope that's okay with everybody today. But this is a stream, and I promise to do things with you all. So that is what we're going to do today instead. In the absence of Chris, like I said, he may or may not come. I hope he does. I have my own website, and it is also built with Astro. And I want to go ahead and work on it today with you all, if that's okay. I think it would be fun just to work on a project that I don't have to think tremendously about, and using some AI to maybe help solve some of the things that I want to do with my site would be a fun exercise to kind of work on together. So sorry, y'all have to stare at my well, you get to look at my pretty face. What am I talking about? I was gonna say my ugly mug, but I ain't ugly. I might not be the most attractive, but I ain't ugly. So I'll give you all a kind of a little bit of a tour of what's going on here. We can talk about what's missing at this point. Maybe add some things that I maybe should add back because I had removed them at one point. Like you'll notice I don't have a Twitch logo, but hey, we're hanging out on Twitch. I should probably have Twitch on here, so we should hang out together. So let's talk. Let's talk about what we should do. First things first, let me show you all kind of what's going on. I don't have a lot of pages, and if you actually look at my Astro config, I don't have any third-party frameworks. I'm not using React. I'm not using Angular. I'm not using Vue. This is 100% Astro. No, nothing else. So if you look at my pages, don't have a lot of pages. I've got my index, my about, my 404, some other like little things that kind of come along with it. Very simple page so far. Everything's Astro, and if you look at my components as well, everything's also Astro. I learned that I could get away with just a purely Astro-based website, and I thought that was really cool. Because there is some JavaScript on here, because you'll see I actually do have a dark light mode, and you might be like, oh, how are you doing that? Kind of cool, actually. So if you go to our base layout, which is what controls my entire website, inside of here, I have a head component, and inside of my head component, I just have a little bit of script. Not there though. I put it somewhere, and now I'm forgetting where I put it. I might have put it in the theme toggle. I totally put it in the theme toggle because it's a global thing, but I just wrote vanilla JavaScript for it because this was all the code I needed. And to bring in a whole library to do, I don't know, how many lines of code is that? 60 lines of code? Felt a little overkill. So I went that route, and that felt really good to me, and I thought it was neat. So just to explain what it's doing at a high level. So it checks local storage to see if a theme for this website is there. If they prefer dark mode and don't have a value, I set them to dark, otherwise light, which is totally fine. This is just defaulting. And then it just says, hey, if the theme is light, go ahead and remove the class dark from the body if it exists. Otherwise, do dark mode. I think that's fun. And then again, we're just setting this. Now, theme is such a generic term. There's an argument to be made that this should be, I should be prefixing this, setting in a cookie. Somebody else has a dark light theme value and I'm conflicting with them. I'm sorry. I'm not going to fix it right now. Oh, hey Linda, thanks for joining us today. So good to see you. So what's the other thing we're doing? I got another document listener, and what this is doing is this is listening for our little icon here, and that's what's actually allowing me to do the toggle. So this is like pulling the values out, changing the states, changing the classes, removing, replacing elements. And then I also have this little bit of script, which this is a really neat Astro feature that lets me kind of detect what mode I'm in before any page transition and reapply the dark mode. Without this little bit of code, I'll take it out for a second. Let's say I go dark mode and then I go to my about page. Or maybe, oh, you know what? My global preference is the other thing. So I think, oh, maybe it wasn't that one. I know it exists, but one of these lines of code was actually making it so when these transitions were happening, I was actually losing color, or I was going back to the other color, and it kind of stunk. And this fixed it, and that was kind of neat. So I put that in there. Although it might not have been that now that I'm looking at it. I'm pretty sure that's it, though. Maybe it's this page load bit right here instead. I swear it was this, though. My brain's a little foggy. I apologize. But yeah, that's how we can get a little bit of that. And then if you're like, oh, hey, how did you get those nice transitions? This is why I really love Astro. It's literally one line of code. I just imported their view transitions and ran them. And that gives me all the beautiful looking transitions. And if I want to do fancier transitions later, like, you know, if you go like from this page to this page, for instance, I could easily like have this image just shrink into this image. But I'm not going to do that because I'm silly. I'm also noticing I have square edges here versus rounded edges here. I've never noticed that. And I don't like that. What do y'all like more? Do you like the round edges or the straight edges? I'm going to change it to whichever one y'all like more. Right, Linda? Uh-oh. I'm going to change it because I like changing things. You like rounded personally? All right, I'll take that for a vote. So let's just go find the image, and then we could just go and put... I'm using Tailwind. Some people might not love me for it. I'm doing it. Hey, it's nice and rounded now, so we're all better. All fixed. We can match it to the homepage, though, and that's actually the better question, is what did I do on the homepage? Which has my hero banner, and my hero banner has... Let's find it. There's my headshot, and we do rounded extra large. So let's be consistent and do rounded extra large everywhere. Now, I don't know if y'all saw something else that's probably bugging me, but I see repeated code. I don't like repeated code. And I hadn't noticed this, but apparently I put these social links in the about page. But if you actually come to my hero banner, I also put them here. And now I feel silly. So we should try that up. And I think that's just a great little option here. Let's figure out where we want to put this. I think I'm going to make a new folder here called utils. Yeah, I think utils. And I'm just going to put like global functionality in there. So I'm going to just like do I'm going to just call it like, or constants. There we go. I like that name. Let's just create constants. And we'll just import all the code I was using to previously generate this because luckily I can just do that. Now the question is going to be, is this going to play nice? Because I'm not sure if this is going to play nice trying to import Astro components into a TypeScript component. Sorry, Jessica. Great minds think alike, though, and I agree that's where I'm going with this one. So let's go ahead and fix this now. So in theory, if I just import social, or let's just do social links, maybe. Oh, it's not picking up my social links. I was hoping it would. All right, well, let's just import it the old-fashioned way. So if we get social links, and hopefully we can just go... Aha. That's where I messed up. Let's go fix my TS config for a minute. Apparently, I didn't put it in my path. Yeah, we could do this. Let's just go ahead and do utils. We're good with that. I don't see a problem with it. So let's do utils constants. And if I did that correctly, I'm on the hero banner on my homepage. It did not like that. Why didn't it like this? Cannot find the layout from index.astro. Why couldn't it find that? Index.astro, and it couldn't find my layout space. But if I click on this, it totally finds it. Let's just make sure that like importing the hero banner, if I remove that all of a sudden, see if that fixes it, because that's the only thing I really changed about this page. Huh, didn't like that. Was there a miscomma or something in the TS config? That's a great question. Let's find out. I did put a comma, but then my prettier removed it, so I don't think that was it. Let's go ahead and just restart the server real quick, see if that does anything. It's a good question. Nope, I think it might have just been that my TS config changed and Astro didn't pick up that change, which we're good with. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, great minds think alike. Okay, so sweet. So we've just fixed a little bit of a code smell. I like fixing code smells because one of the features we were going to do today, talking about it, was we were going to add the Twitch logo that's missing. So I think I can get rid of all of that. Now, if we go to my about page, all my socials are there. We're really happy about the socials being there. So now this is going to be great because I've done some nice refactoring that is going to make this next thing super easy to do, which is we're going to go to our constants. We're just going to change the order of things. I think what I've decided is I want Blue Sky to be last, and I really want LinkedIn to be second. I've been learning this in the past week. Don't ask me why. It seems like a logical choice. But we're going to go with a Twitch icon, which I already had because I had it on the website before. And we're just going to do Dustin's Twitch. And then we're going to grab the URL from Twitch because I'm really bad at URLs. And I don't want to type it out. And in theory, if I did everything correctly, we now get our Twitch logo, which is super awesome because now y'all can come watch me, watch you, or whatever. And then everything else is now ordered exactly how I want it. And then actually, if we look at the bottom of our screen real quick, the Astro, I need this to hide for a minute. Can I have you move? Is there a way to change where you are? Oh, I would have to disable it. I don't want to do that, but I want to move it. Can I move it? No? Ooh, what is this? What is this feature? I want to know what that okay, let's look at what this feature is. Missing content on element important for accessibility. Heading. I love you, Astro. You just won my heart. You just won my heart. They have accessibility features and an accessibility audit baked into the framework tool now. This is so awesome. We're going to have to solve, we're going to fix this today because I don't know what the fix is yet, but we're going to fix this today. This is, if you're not developing with Astro today and you care about accessibility, consider it. It's a done deal. This is what you want. This is flipping fantastic is what it is. I'm curious how much other accessibility problems I have on my website. We're going to fix all those today. That seems like an easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's do it today. But before we do that, what we need to do is we need to go find our footer. And we're going to see that I have all the same social stuff yet again on this thing. So we're going to go ahead and borrow some code, right? We like borrowing code. We like making it easy. So if we go to our index page, no, our hero banner, we're going to grab our socials And we're just going to import that here because all the rest of this is going to disappear at some point. And then let's go fix our rendering, right? We like fixing renders. So if we go social links and we map over them, we're going to output this component right here. Assuming I didn't fat finger anything, and I'm sure I did. Okay, this wants to have the parentheses. Did I get everything else? No, I did not. I'm missing that. I'm wondering why Prettier's not playing nice, but we'll come back to that in a moment. There's a Sentry thing with it too, I think, and I think the arrow thing is a component explorer debugger type thing. Tell me more about this Sentry thing, Linda. I'd be curious. And/or send me a link and I'll pull it up and we can talk about it live, because I think that would be super cool. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow my destructure from this other component, because why not? And what we can do here is put our href, we can put our label, and instead of calling Twitter icon here, we can just put icon. And I'm going to delete all of these other footers. And assuming I've done this correctly, now you can't really see it, but you can all at the same time. Yeah, there it is. There are all the logos in the same order that they are here and on the other page. We just dried up my website. And I love that. Dry is good. Curious why it imported Zod's map of all things. That's an interesting import choice. Well, cool. Hey, look, we just made 3 really good improvements in just under a few minutes. Okay. We got a link. Let's look at the link. Sentry, our official monitoring partner. We are thrilled to announce Sentry as Astro's new official monitoring partner, which includes a 5,000 monthly donation towards the ongoing open source maintenance and development of Astro. That's amazing. Astro is the web framework for building content-driven websites, including blogs, marketing, and e-commerce. Totally agreed. Introducing Spotlight. Here we go. Aha, there's a Sentry Spotlight, but I don't have that because I probably don't have Sentry installed. So I think the answer is also I probably am not on Astro 4. Let's actually look. We might do that tonight too. No, I am on Astro 4. We're going to have to figure out how to get this. Oh, here you go. Here's how you add it. It's one line. I don't have a Sentry account. Let's get a Sentry account. Let's do this today. First off, let's fix the thing that we fixed. Just double check our commit and everything. We like this. We'll just refactor social links into refactor social links to be dry, because why not? Oh, yes. The plugin only works because of the toolbar. That makes sense. But we can always get a Sentry account. I don't see a problem with that. So let's do this. Yes, we want to install it. Also, if my font sizes are ever too small, let me know and I'll bump them up. They're just set for me and my preference, not necessarily for you all, which isn't a good answer, but that's how I am. Okay, let's get Astro and Spotlight. Cool. So if I do this and now I run yarn dev, going back, and hey, Spotlight by Sentry. That's cool. Now yay. So if I have errors, I'd be able to track them and do all that. And I don't even have Sentry installed on this project yet, fully. So maybe we'll set up Sentry monitoring. That's always a fun activity. We'll go ahead and just commit that though, because we're good people and we like committing things as we're working on them. So add Sentry and Spotlight. Cool. Let's keep going. I want to do this accessibility audit though, because I think this is just bugging me. So in the hero banner, this element here, it says missing content on element important for accessibility. Headings and anchors must have content to be accessible. So this is interesting. I thought this would be solved by the fact that I put an ARIA label. Let's see. Astro headings, anchor links for, okay. No, that's Starlight. Astro ally. Might just be an ally thing. Aha. So maybe what I forgot to do is on these icons. Let's see if I can do this without changing too much. I might just need to pass in a prop, which I don't. So let's do this. Let's just do, what's the prop called? It's ARIA hidden. So this is going to be a Boolean. And it's going to be optional. And we'll just do ARIA hidden and we'll default it to, let's default it to false maybe, because that's maybe the default behavior. And we should always go default. And then on my SVG here, I can do ARIA hidden is equal to ARIA hidden. And then if I change this to be ARIA hidden and change this to true, does that fix our problem? No, it's still mad at me. I thought that would be it. That is not it. Okay, well let's keep learning, because this is a fair to learn thing. Rules, Anchor has content. So I'm guessing it's using the CSLint plugin to some degree. So I have an anchor tag and it has children, which mine does. It's an SVG. That's the pro. Oh, do SVG labels or I was just listening to this talk not even 2 weeks ago, and I should know the answer to this. There is a property on SVGs that you're supposed to set that makes it accessible when used in the exact context that I'm using it. Okay, I maybe went too far. So I think oh no, I'm struggling here. So by running, oh, here we go. So the pattern is SVG, role, image, title, and description. I don't have titles and descriptions. That makes sense to me. Let's put title. Let's put a title on all of my, well, let's try this real quick. If I put title on this, and if I say this is the Twitch icon or Twitch logo, because that's what it actually is, does Twitch now pass? No, it does not. But if we look at it, and let's maybe not get the Astro one, but let's maybe get our actual component. So our SVG here does have the title. So I did that correctly. And it doesn't have the ARIA property set on it correctly. Why are we missing an ARIA property? I set it to true. Does it have to be the string? Might have to be the string. That would be sad, but I'm okay with that. Let's try that. Let's see what happens when I change this to true. Does that actually set it? The answer is no, it does not set it. So that didn't work at all. So that was a big waste of time. Can I just set it normally like this, possibly? Let's see if we can learn something today. Yeah, it's got the ARIA true now, but it's still red. Okay, let's keep reading about accessibility on SVGs. So this person put the role. I don't have a role on this. What happens if I say role equals image? Does that change things? Nope, still mad. We're okay with that. Okay, so let's scroll up a little bit, see where this whole section on SVG starts. Okay. Okay, so the second group of 4 patterns utilizes the SVG tag with an inline SVG file. Although adding the SVG code directly into the markup could potentially make the page a bit slower to load, the miner efficiency will be offset by having more control over the visual animations of your images. By adding your SVG to the HTML directly, you also have more options when it comes to providing image information to your screen reader users. Maybe a role attribute on the SVG. So I tried that. I put the role of image. So if we come back to it, if we come back to look at it like this, let's just do the Twitch one. Oh, maybe I got rid of it because I'm silly. No, I put it there. So here's the role of image on this SVG. So if I go back to our code and I look for the role, you can see I have the role there. All right. We're not fully picking up things. Okay. We're gonna trust that for a minute, Linda. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna see what happens. And we lost. I'm sad because we lost, but we tried. It was a good idea. It was a very good idea. Okay, so let's see. Let's keep reading. So this one has the role of image, which I did. And we put the title, which that was also good. Pattern 6 is image plus text, but we don't need text. So in theory, this should have been enough. This title and this image and maybe we'll get rid of the ARIA hidden for a second and see if that makes a difference. Just so we're not trying too many things at once. Always worth trying things, right? Huh. Well, this is a bummer. Why is this just not happening? Well, let's look at something real quick. We don't have the ESLint plugin for Astro ESLint Ally. Let's see if there's a plugin for this. That's not the one I'm looking for. Or maybe that is the one I'm looking for. What is this? ESLint, maybe this is what I'm looking for. Is this official though? Is this the official one? I don't think so. What does Astro recommend? Let's find out. ESLint. Editor setup. ESLint is popular. Community maintained plugin can be installed. Oh, it was this one. Haha. They do recommend this. So let's go ahead and get it set up. Yeah. So let's just make sure this is installed. And then if you write TypeScript Astro, you also need to install the TypeScript ESLint parser. Okay. And I want this one. This is the one I care about. This is why I came here. This person was thinking about me when I was doing this. I love open source. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so in theory, if I just restart ESLint server and also just make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, okay. I need to go put my ESLint let's see. Use the ESLint RC file to configure the rule C ESLint configuring. Example, when using the shareable config provided by the plugin, we can just do this and then have overrides. If you don't use a shareable config, it's the same in the following configuration. If you are writing client-side scripts in TypeScript and want to use TypeScript as the TypeScript parser, you will need to use client-side TS processor as shown there. frankly, I think we just want this one. So I don't have an ESLint file yet, so let's go ahead and add it. We're going to do ESLint rc.js, I think is what they said the name of the file was. .ESLint rc.js. So I forgot a dot and I put it in the wrong folder. We'll survive. We will survive. Main reason I'm doing this as well, if anybody's curious, this is just going to make, hopefully, things a lot easier to just get out of the box here. Do I have... I guess I don't have this yet. So we'll just do a new folder, VS Code, and it's settings. I don't do this very often, but I like it. Settings.json. We'll enable some ESLint. Okay, so we've got the Astro, we've got the ESLint. Now, in theory, we can run this. But that didn't work. And I'm honestly not super duper surprised. So in my theme toggle, it's upset. There's an exclamation point where it wasn't expecting one. Ah, yes. Ah, yes, indeed. This was a thing. Probably should have just done it that way. That would have been smart. So that worked. And did that work? Now I'm really confused. So we've added ESLint. We got it configured. It's theoretically working. I say theoretically because that's all I can say here. So let's figure out what's not going on here. And maybe part of it is I don't actually have the Ally plugin installed all the way correctly. Let's make sure I do that because I would like it installed correctly. If we go to our ESLint RC, that's an extends and that's a plugin. Let's just get rid of a lot of this like emptiness. We're okay with all this. We're okay with all that. Any overrides that I decide I want to use later? Okay, let's try this again. Well, now I'm sad because I was expecting this to help me identify this because I was assuming that what this tool is using under the hood is equivalent to the ESLint plugin that I'm using on the server. That appears to not be the case, and that saddens me. Okay, well, let's keep trying. Let's keep researching because I feel like this is a solvable-ish problem, and I'm just quickly gonna double check. Nope. Okay. No. He's not here yet. Okay. So we've got the prettier setup, I think. Yarn prettier, or I think I have a prettier config too. I just want to make sure that that's not catching anything. Yeah, yarn format. Let's see if this catches anything. And fixed a few things. Nothing I'm terribly concerned with yet. So that fixed our Astro config file. We've got our package, we've got our yarn lock, we've got our settings, we've got our theme toggle, we've got this one change to this one file that we've been trying to fix. So I guess let's keep going. Maybe we can try to use another ally tool like Wave. Wave could work. There's another one. I'm trying to remember what it's called though. I think it was, what was its name? We could try Wave. I'm not opposed to Wave. Could be fine. You're right. Let's get the browser extension maybe and see what happens. Add, and let's try it out on here now. So if we refresh, do I need to open it through here, or does it show up in my DevTools? There we go. So if we go here, well, now that's really confusing. That's super confusing. So maybe the toolbar's wrong. And that's sad. I would like the toolbar to be right. But I like that it's showing me where all the things are. But this is weird. I don't like this. So one redundant link. Underlined text. Oh, you're not allowed to do that. That's annoying. So what's a redundant link? Adjacent links go to the same URL. When adjacent links go to the same location, such as a linked product image and adjacent linked product name, it's possible to combine the redundant links into one link and remove any. It's detecting that I made this and this the same button. We can fix that. That's an easy fix. If we go to our header, what it's saying is I shouldn't have this here. I can live without that link. I'm okay with that. Because I think most people know that you can just click there and get the same behavior. So, all right, I respect that. We'll take that feedback and work with it. Okay, what else we got? Doesn't like my underline. That makes me sad because it was just a text decoration for the heck of it. Unless there is a distinct need for the underline text, remove the underline from it. A U element or element with text decoration underline styles is present. I really wanted the squiggly. Do I have to remove it? Considering removing the underline from the non-linked text, other styling, bolder. Okay. We'll try it. I'm sad. But we're going to talk about, if I'm going to talk about accessibility, I'm going to be accessible. That is my truth. How do you do italic? I don't like it. What do you element work? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see. That was not the way to go back to that tool. I don't like that it closes every time I have a refresh. So we're going to pin it for a minute so I can keep coming back to it. No, it doesn't like that. So I think the answer is don't use a U, don't do the thing. I can go italic if I want. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to replace this with some like fancy SVG of my name that does what I want instead of what it's doing. But I think that's a problem for another day. I think we're going to make this accessible for now by making it italic and moving on. Okay, so let's see. Is this saying this is a problem? Ensure that alternate conveys the context and sufficiently. So which one is this one talking about? This is that image. So maybe this is where I'm messing up. And this could be perfectly true. Linked image with alternate text. So how to fix it? Ensure that the alternate text represents the content of the image and or the function of the link. So, Linda, you were the one that recommended me this tool, so I'm going to ask you the question. These are just saying this should be better, not necessarily that there's something wrong. Is that correct? And while I wait for an answer, because there's a little delay, there is one that I totally see that I need to fix. Which is right here. So this should say toggle theme. And I think this is where it gets interesting. This component doesn't actually know if it's light or dark mode. It just can handle either. So toggle theme from toggle theme light and toggle light and dark themes. I think people will visually see that. Oh, I have an idea. So I think what the toolbar audit was saying was that there's no content, aka text, since it's just the SVG. Maybe worth it to add text to the link and then visually hide it with CSS. I like what you're saying. I like a lot what you're saying. Let's see if I can find that. So it's right here. So it's talking about these, and what it's saying is, ensure the ARIA label value of the element referenced by the ARIA label by provides a descriptive, accurate label when possible using HTML label. Okay, so that's not this. But yeah, let's do what you're saying. I like what you're saying. So I think these titles are still fair, and I think this role is totally fair. I think that's all. I think this is all very reasonable. Why this is looking like this is bugging me though. So we're gonna go back to our constants file. We're also gonna just fix these real quick. Link to, or actually, does it even need to say link? It would just be doesn't. No, these are sufficient theoretically. Also, ESLint is not right. That is incorrect. We might be getting rid of ESLint as soon as we installed it, because I don't think it's working. Frankly, it's not working. So let's undo these changes, because I don't like things that don't work. If they're not working and they're not working well, we're just not going to use them, and we're going to delete it. That's okay. We could always recreate it if we needed to. We'll discard this change. Keep that, keep that, keep that. And we'll go make all these fixes where necessary. So we can go fix this on all our icons real quick. So Twitter icon. It says Twitter icon because I call it Twitter, but Twitter or X logo, or X formerly Twitter. I guess that's the appropriate way to write that. We're going to skip a couple of these because I forget exactly what context I use them in. This is the LinkedIn logo. And then we're going to have the GitHub logo. GitHub logo. And the Blue Sky logo. Blue Sky. And now this is going to be a question of what are each one of these. I think, do I actually use the code icon? That's a question. I don't. I got rid of this. So I actually don't know what this is doing. This is just dead code in my code base. We're going to delete it. Dead code is dead code. Dev2 icon. This was the Dev2 logo. I got rid of that too, but I might bring this one back. I appreciate that, Coder Girl. You are right. The title element represents the document's title or name. Authors should use titles. I find their document. I don't know why this is complaining all of a sudden. That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, that was just a weird thing. So this is a microphone think it's a microphone. Yeah, microphone icon. This is a pencil icon. And this is I called it the team icon, but a group of people icon. Because that's what it looks like. And that feels good. What else did I do to the Twitch icon? I made them all roles. I'm okay with the role. That feels good to me. Any objections? Anybody think I'm doing anything wrong when I do that? I don't think I'm doing anything explicitly wrong when I do this. I think, in fact, I'm actually doing something very implicitly correct when I do this. Okay, so we're gonna just fix. We're gonna commit all that. Fix SVGs for ally. We're going to. This is just run prettier because that's all I did. And these are all just going to be audit items at this point. So let's just keep going with our audit. I have a contrast issue. I feel like that is a very important thing. So where is my contrast issue? Right here. Aha. How do we fix that? We want this to be blue. So it's a contrast issue because this blue is too close to, or maybe the light blue specifically. Oh no, it's the dark blue. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. So if we go to that page, that is our main index. And in here, it is the hero banner, which is, wait, what page am I on? I'm on the about page. I'm on the wrong page, y'all. Okay, let's go to the right page. Okay, right here we have the link, and it's complaining that this blue is not blue enough, maybe. So let's do that, and on hover, why don't we make it like 900? That's a pretty deep blue. And it still ain't happy. It's the right thing. So how to fix this contrast issue? Maybe it's blue 700? Feels too dark. Very curious why that line's showing up there. Is it saying that this color and that color are too close? I think it's just sky blue that I have. No, maybe it's just called sky. Might still not like this, but these are important things to fix if you ask me. Huh. Click a contrast icon below or within the web page to view the details. This one. The contrast ratio is 4:23:1, and it fails. Okay, so I need to go... Effectively, this is saying I need to go darker. So I'm not dark enough. That's what I'm being told. So maybe the default should be 900, and then I'll just invert it. Does anybody want to laugh with me for a minute? And why I haven't been noticing any changes on that? I was like, man, why is this not working? It's not working because I never set the colors. These are dark mode. These aren't light mode. I was like, man, that really does look the same. I don't know what's going on here. Right? Right. That was good. That was good, y'all. That was good. Today we learned how to act the fool, and we did a good job with it. And it's not any better, I don't think, but we're gonna see. So if we click this one, how close are we? So the issue is this needs to be about that color, that shade. So think what that is. That's closer to like 800 here. So maybe I just need to invert them. So it goes from dark to light. And maybe that'll fix our little accessibility issue. Sure enough, that's what it was. Man, that was for being a smart person, that was pretty dumb. At the same time, that happens. So if any of my Tailwind haters were in the call right now, or watching this, or giving me feedback, this would be why they don't like Tailwind. It's because that was just so easy to overlook. And they wouldn't be wrong. But I used it because it's easy and I chose to do it. So, and plus this is my project. So, I'm the only developer on it. I'm the only one who has to think about it. This is just easier for me. Doesn't mean I'm right. Just means it's what I'm doing. All right, let's keep doing accessibility stuff. We have an alert. What is our alert? Missing first level heading. And that's because this probably is the H1, unless that was the H1 on every page. So if we go back to the home page, I'm guessing I made this an H1. Who thinks I probably made that an H1? Totally made that an H1. So on my about page, well, that's going to have to be an H1, not an H2. And that's okay. Did I put any H3s on this page? I did. Those are now H2s. Now, did I put any H3s besides that on the page? Nope. So now if I go back and let's do an audit, we have no alerts, no contrast errors. Everything looks happy. Let's go to our about page. Let's do an audit here. Everybody's happy. Let's go to a blog page. This one's probably going to complain because I definitely don't have an H1 on this page. And I have contrast issues. All right, let's look at these. Where's my alert? Let's find the alert first. No H1. So if we go to our blog index, blog / it's probably this one. Oh, haha. Yes, this is my page. Now you might be like, wait, why is that your page? Why don't you have a blog index? I have pagination and other features on this page. I'm going to turn this off for a second. And because of all my pagination and all the goodies that brings me, this had to be this format per Astro's documentation. But this was like an out-of-the-box feature, and I didn't have to think about it, and that made me a happy human. So we're going to thank Astro for being who they are and giving us free features. We like free features. But that does mean in our blog index here above our category selector, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our about page, find our H1, make this our standard, and we're going to just say my blog. That's a simple fix, right? My blog. And now all of a sudden we go run the thing and it's like, yep, we're good. But let's find these contrast issues because I don't like contrast issues. They make me sad. And fun fact, it's all the same stuff that we just finished fixing on the about page with that link tag. So we're going to go grab these, go to our blog index, find our pagination, find all the anchor tags here because I did a thing. And we're going to grab the full gambit of these. And anywhere I have an anchor tag, I now need to do some class names. So I basically need to paste this a few times. Don't love that I have to do that, but it's the right thing to do. And it's going to fix all of our anchor tags. and we're not going to have to think about them. And we're going to get a lot of accessibility out of this now. Yeah, all our contrast issues. You've been trying to figure out how I want to show my published on other sites post on my website. I'm glad you do that here, Dustin. First example from the wild. I've seen, yes. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do here. And now that we fixed all of the very explicit ARIA issues, or style on this page at least, that's actually something I wanted to do. We'll pause on ARIA for just a second because I think that's an interesting thing I've done on these pages. So I have these blog post cards, right? And I think it's this one. It is not this one. It is the blog post preview is maybe what I called it. I didn't name things very well. I apologize for that. Yeah, so, okay, this is what I did. So I'm using Astro content collections. If you're not familiar with content collections, that's okay. We'll talk about them for a second. But content collections allow you to kind of configure different collection types that you're going to maintain and where they exist inside of this very specially named content directory. So this is my schema. This is what all of my, all my blog posts need to match. Now, Linda was pointing out how I have this really awesome, I think it's awesome, way to link out to other sites. I have that configured as original article and original source right here. Now they're optional because I have original content on my website and there's content that I didn't write on my website that, but I wrote on other websites and I want to link to it. Now, when you write for other websites, you want to attribute it to the other website because that's not your content necessarily, especially if somebody else paid you to do it. Totally fine. Attribution's huge. So what I have here is inside of some of these. So I'm just gonna pick this first one because I know I wrote this on Medium. And I just left it on Medium because I get good analytics on it and it's pretty searchable and I don't want to take it off the internet for that reason. But like, hey, here's a blog post, here's the title, and this gives me everything I need to render the card. But if you look at the original article on context, it tells you where it is. And on my post itself, I have this read more. And if the post source is anything but undefined or null, it'll render read more on whatever website it came from. And I like that. And it's super, super simple. So when it's like time to go do a new blog post, for instance, like I probably have a few articles that I wrote on for work that I haven't put here yet. Yeah, I wrote a few. Let's go filter down to me. Here's me. So yeah, I've got, let's see if I have any of these. I don't think I have it. I think leveraging Astro is maybe the last one. No, I got the Node.js one. Okay. So I'm missing 3 posts. Yeah, isn't that a great blog design? I think I know 2 people on this call or on the stream that actually worked on this. Y'all did a great job with this. Good work, both of you. Okay, so I get to steal stuff from me because, well, I wrote it. So these are gonna be like the things I wrote. So let's go ahead and do a few things. Now, this is how I choose to do it. This doesn't mean this is how you have to do it. I like my directory to be organized just like I like my blog post to like my blogs to be organized. Like if you look at any of these, they all have like, here's a date, the publish date. I'm sorting on that. But for me, and like all this published stuff, this is just easier for me if I do this like that. But for me, I also like the file name to be the same. So I'm going to do that. So this was published on January 17th of this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new file, 2024-01-07. And then this was, I don't remember what the name of it was. But now I know the name. And I'm going to just borrow that. And this is going to be, I think these are not Astro files. What are these? These are Markdown files. So we can just do a Markdown. And if we go back to my blog page here, it's like, hey, this doesn't work. And that's because this doesn't meet any of the requirements of a third party. So let's grab this and do it the same because it's at this.blog. So we're going to grab my article here, paste it there. And if I can steal everything from this website, I'm going to, because I don't want to come up with original content, right? Who wants to write original content today? That's not the point of this. Okay, so we've got the title, we've got the alt text. We're going to talk about this in just a second. So we need to do the 2024. I said it was 0107. Actually, it wasn't 07. It was 17. I got to fix that. Now, I guess part of this too is I do this naming because it's also the URI of the page. So everything's kind of like organized that way. It doesn't make the prettiest URLs in the world, but it helps me just like keep my thoughts organized. And it's in a pretty consistent format. I like consistent format, so I go with it. All right, so what we can do now is we're going to go back a page to here, and we're going to just try to take what's right here, because I don't want to write original content today. We're trying to cheat as much as possible to avoid the exercise of having to write this myself. So we have all that. And now the last thing we need to do is I want to save this image. Now I do the same naming convention on my files. So 2021-17, getting the most out of your project management. So I'm just going to do it this way. And just because the assets look nice, I'm going to keep borrowing them. I'm going to put it on my desktop just because it'll be faster to find it there than it will be anywhere else on my computer. And we're going to just do this a couple more times super duper fast. Because again, I just want to get these images and have them, and it'll just make my life easier. So this one's going to be 2024-01-26. And then this one is going to be that. And then we can go and save that. And 2024, hey, first February post. Let's go. 0202. Okay, so now I have my three. They're all WebPs, and I like that. It's in a format that I think is great. It does add an extra step here where I have to go get all this now. So if I go to my desktop and I grab those three images, I can just go drop them inside of my blog assets now. Now, part of the reason I did the naming the way I did is because now what I could do is I could just replace the parts with the file name that I'm currently in. And that just helps me find things and relate them. If there's multiple images, oh well. But if I did this correctly now, if I go back to my website, now I get this. And when I click on it, it opens up to the original post. And I have it set up on my blog pages as well. And I'm going to point this out for you, Linda, because this is going to be an important one to make sure you get right. Is I also in my header, I set the canonical URL to give credit to the original source. So when Google or any of the web crawlers come hit my site, they're just going to hit that, realize what it is, and index on that rather than giving me full credit for something that is not fully mine. And that way, like, if you actually try to go to, well, here, let's do it. So if I try to go to this page on my blog, like this, you would think this is a valid URL, right? And you would be right. But there was nothing on the page before it kicked over, and it forces the redirect. So like people could try to hit it, but all the canonical stuff, all the redirecting is set up. So proper attribution is proper attribution. So that's how I do it. I like it. It makes it simple. So like if you want to read something that I wrote on my site, easy peasy. But if it's something I wrote on a third party, I give credit where it's due because then I don't have to think about it. Now the only thing that I left out were my tags on this one. And what were the tags that were assigned over here? Project management. Do I have a project management tag? That is the next question. So if I go to my config here, it should be all my categories. And I have project management as a category. That's helpful because now I can actually just put that here and move on with my life. And now my tags are set up as well. And the reason that's important, you'll see there's no tags here, but all my tags are here. So when I want to get project management posts, boom, there you go. Oh, interesting. I think I like having an MD file for each post, even non-personal one. Yeah. Yes, I agree with everything that you're saying, and I appreciate how you're thinking about it. It's important, and I've got my similar issues where it's like, oh yeah, I did this, and this is how I linked out, and here's how I think about architecture. Like, and I'm using tags here as well to do this. For your thing, I think it's important to do all that for one, attribution's sake. But I think it's also helpful because that canonical linking actually gives your website more clout. I'm going to use the word clout, but when the SEO engine picks it up that you're actually you're not posting original content, that you're doing it for another site, it actually gives you credibility and causes linking between the original site and your site, which is actually really powerful. So it's a good SEO feature. And actually, just because the two of you know about this specifically, and I'm sure others might have heard of this website, or maybe they don't, but there's this cool website called framework.dev that we built. It's also built in Astro, but it's still an Astro 1, I think. I think that's as far as we got it. But we basically built our own concept of content collections on that entire website. There's repeat content. There's a little bit of sorting problems, things like that. I'm like totally in the mindset, maybe on stream one night, we might just go into framework.dev and try to upgrade it all the way to 4 and implement it as content collections because A, it's a cool project. B, content collections would be a huge bonus for it. And C, why the heck not, y'all? Plus it's, yeah. And I will say this, one of the things that framework.dev really needs, is, and I don't know how quickly I'm going to be able to reproduce this, but it has a small problem. Oh, cool. I made it happen right away. The logo's not there. And part of it is there's some course issues and some fetching stuff. We might write a script to go and fetch all of these different library icons and store them as part of the content collections and do that. That could just be a fun, like, let's contribute to open source in a meaningful way. Give back to the community, do something fun. I'm kind of about it. Let's do it for the good of the people. And have some fun while we do it. So that could be a fun stream for another night. But like I said, I'm kind of low energy, so I'm not gonna go fully down that rabbit hole right now. Albeit a very fun rabbit hole. Okay, we're gonna just finish these off real quick because I would like to have all of my content on my own website. And that was maybe one of the ideas I was going to pursue tonight is doing something kind of cool with this. Uh-oh. Did I accidentally create an empty file in the wrong place? Okay, let's see. I think it was 0126. Yeah, 0126. Hey, my brain did the thing. So we're going to go ahead and just do some copy pasta. Grab that again. Or you could just use your lovely copy paste tool if you have one. I use Copyless. It's free. It was nice. I don't know. Going to recommend things that I found free and nice. But if I did this correctly, that's working now. And then I can change this to that. Go back to the blog page. Grab this piece again so I don't have to come up with my own copy. I wrote it once. I shouldn't have to write it twice. And what was this? TypeScript serverless in AWS. TypeScript, AWS. Serverless probably should have been the first tag. Now that I'm looking at it. Let's see if that played nice. Cool, that played nice. Ish. Oh, I was like, why aren't all my blogs here? Because I was filtered. So this is a fun bug. I haven't figured out how I want to solve it yet. But I don't know if y'all noticed all the dates are day off from when I'm actually publishing. It's a silly little bug. I'll probably fix it. Maybe we'll fix that tonight. It's the little things, right? Just the little things. All right, we'll do one more. Oh, give me 1 sec, y'all. Somebody needs to come in this room, and they don't want to be on camera, so I'm gonna turn off my camera for a second. All right, we'll keep going. Camera's off. All right, we'll do the last one, which I called demystifying React server components, and that was on what, 2.2? Is that what it says? Yeah, 2.2. So let's go ahead and do 2024 0202.md. And then let's just grab one of the last ones I just did because we talked about that. And this is going to be, what were the tags on it and what does it say it is? So Next.js, React, and architecture. So React, Next.js, architecture. Who thinks I don't have one of those tags set up? I don't have one of those tags set up, and we're okay with that. We're going to just remove that one because we're okay not using all the same tags. Okay, so here we go. We got that working. We've got this demystifying thing working. So if we go replace both of those, and then if we go, probably the faster way is actually to go get the relative path here and do just a little bit of snip snip. And I'm gonna paste that there. And last but not least would be grabbing our lovely little teaser text, which everybody does this differently. I actually sometimes write custom teaser text, but I think you both probably know this better than I do, but I have a feeling you have a script that actually parses the content for this. I'm guessing that's a true story. Oh, I forgot to change the date here. So that's 02. And now everything is good in the world. We have all of our blog posts copied over. Now they're canonically linked and it works. I'm happy about that. And we got all of our assets. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fix ally issues because that was the first thing we did. Then we're going to, oh, did I miss one? I missed one. So we'll just do a quick amend. And then for these is sync this dot blog posts. Now, something I could do, I just haven't because it's not worth it to me, but I do know that there is an RSS feed. Might be this. Yeah. So there's an RSS feed with like all the blog posts. I could try to read this, parse this, and automate what I just did. I've chosen not to, just because I have to parse through everybody. And this is only the last, like, I think we got it up to 100 posts now. But that's something if you're like interested in finding an upstream source that you write to, that's a good way to do it. I wouldn't say it's a bad idea. Just food for thought as people are building their own thing. All right, let's see if we can do two things now. I think one, we're done with all that. Done with that. We'll come back to that, and okay, now we're back. Let's see if we could fix these dates real quick. It just wasn't worth it to me in the past, but now that I'm looking at it and I keep looking at it, I'm just like, man, I really don't like this. And I think the reason it does this is it's this to local string thing. And I think the locale I want is actually UTC. Let's look up the docs for this. To locale string. To locale string ENGB. That would actually work for what I want, I think. Let's try that. What happens if I say ENGB? Oh, that's what's formatting it. I don't like that. I want the format, but I want the underlying date object to be the UTC equivalent date object. And it looks like I could pass this in as a thing here. So maybe if I do that. Hey, fix the bug. That was a quick fix. I like quick fixes. Now I gotta go fix it on this page. And you know what I'm just realizing? I did it again, y'all. I did it again. I wasn't dry. Let's be dry. We're just going to call this date.ts. And we're just going to do, well, we're just going to copy this verbatim. And we're just going to export it. Because that's an easy enough fix, right? Do I need to pull in any special libraries? No, it's just default libraries. I like that. So let's go ahead and just import format date. And let's just do it from at utils/date. And then we can get rid of this format date. And I could do the same thing over yonder. Do the same delete. And looky there, same fix. I like that. We're making my website better one click at a time, everybody. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Well, while we're here, we're gonna just say let's fix date rendering issue. And we can push that up. And if we actually go to the website that's live, in theory, those blog posts are up already. Ain't that pretty? I think that's pretty. And I guess because my server's actually in UTC, the dates aren't a problem here. But if it wasn't for that, there would be a problem. Where's my site hosted? That's a great question. Netlify. I think they're a great host. They hosted well to Astro. I know, officially speaking, Astro and Vercel are partnered, but I've been on Vercel on Netlify for over a year now, and they've been good to me. The bandwidth, the build minutes, the concurrent builds, all that's been priced just right for me, and everything's working. So, when I need things, I kind of start here, and if I have to go to Vercel, I go to Vercel. But this has been great for me, and I have had no complaints with them as a host. Yeah, it's a great product. Would love to see more out of them in the coming months. But sometimes that is what it is. All right, so we've got a couple issues. I want to fix those. So first off is you'll remember that link issue that I had on those other pages? That's a global issue. Now I fixed it in the pagination component. Right? Yeah, I did it down here. And so I'm going to grab this guy here because I know where I need to fix it. So I have a base CSS, and in here I just have, well, a bunch of styles. And what we've learned is that I just need to match these numbers to the numbers that I actually used instead of the numbers I thought I wanted to use. And if we rerun it, our contrast issues go away. That's maybe the one thing I do like about Tailwind at times is it's easy to do this, but at the same time, I could do the same thing with CSS variables. So I don't know, super duper easy thing. Now we have an issue on this page. Redundant alternative text. So what's going on here? I have redundant alternative text. So this component as nearby or adjacent reference. Aha. So the alt text here is always the same as this. So I think this is the one page where we could just hide this from ARIA. I think that's more or less what this is trying to say. In most cases, you can give the image an empty null art text because the content of the image is already in context through text, linked images. Oh, or I could just do the simple thing that it said to do. I like simple. Who doesn't like simple? So what this is saying I could do is I don't actually need the alt text on this one. I can just actually pass in just an empty string, which felt wrong to me, but turns out that's the right way to do it. So we're going to trust that people who are much smarter than me that put this tool together knew what they were doing, and I can trust them. But hey, look at that. We have fixed all the accessibility on my website tonight. We got some nice images. We've updated my blog content. We've seen how we can deploy this easily. We've gotten a huge ton of stuff out of our good friend Astro. There's some cool features. I still want to know like why this is still mad at me. Like, I think this is silly. I'm curious. I'd love to, if somebody from the Astro team or anybody who knows more about how this works could share. I'd love an actual, I mean, let's go look for a minute and just see if like there's notes on the DevTools. Let's see. I'm just curious what they're using to actually trigger this. So what are they calling this feature? This feature is called audit. 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 They don't have the word audit anywhere except for right here. Whether this toolbar allows you to inspect your page island, see helpful audits on performance and accessibility. This option is scoped to the entire project. To only disable the toolbar for yourself, run that. Disable the global, run that. Yes, understood. How are these audits? Astro audits. How does it work? Astro has recorded administrative activities and events in your organization. That is not what I wanted. Oh, you know what? Let's just do an upgrade real quick. What are the odds? Let's just take a gamble here. What are the odds I'm just on an old version of Astro? Oh, we can just fix blog li. I spelled that really poorly. But you know what? That's okay. We're going to deal with, well, actually, we can fix it. I know there's a way to just amend the message, but I'm really bad at this sometimes, so I'm just going this route. So let's just do the Astro upgrade. And we can also go to the repo. If anybody ever wants to see what this repo is doing, it's public. I'll actually post this in the chat as well. So Linda, if you're trying to make these same changes to your website, here's a full reference for you. I have no problem. It's all free to share. It's all open source code. Free and open source. Okay, we're going to run the Astro upgrade tool. And part of the reason I was coming here too is I had a bunch of pull requests open that I just was like, oh, yeah, maybe I should go look at all these and see what's going on. Well, Linda, I'll do you two favors. One, I'm going to upload this VOD to YouTube later to make it easier for you to like look at the portion. I think we were about an hour and a half in on the stream. So A, you can go look at the VOD, but 2, now you have the code. So you could use both. So there you go. I don't know. I like to make life easier for those that are watching. So I hope you enjoy. All right, we're gonna go ahead and also do some upgrades here. Just because I see them. So Tailwind, Astro, Prettier, all that good stuff. They're all dev dependencies, so we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. So it's Tailwind, CSS. Was Prettier in the mix? Prettier was in the mix. Post CSS, auto prefix. No, just Astro. But the Prettier plugin for Tailwind was here. So we're gonna do one of these. Just get all of them lovely, lovely, lovely packages installed. So when I go push this up in a minute, why do I have... Oh, it probably used NPM under the hood to do the Astro upgrade. Okay, so if we run dev, now that everything's upgraded, there should be no issues. Although Spotlight, okay, Spotlight's running, we're good. Now, if we run this now, the audits are very different all of a sudden. Huh. That's cool. That's a very different set of audits. That was the problem. I was on an old version, y'all. So let's do this. Let us run yarn format real quick. Because that's going to change just an epic amount of stuff, I'm assuming. Oh, no. All right. So we're just going to do upgrade Astro and other deps. And in here, now what we have is we can use this to actually do a proper audit. Use the loading eager attribute on this image. The image tag is above the fold and could be eagerly loaded to improve performance. I think that's good advice. Anybody think that's bad advice? I don't. So this logo just needs loading is eager. I'm good with that. What else do we need? I'm guessing it's saying that pretty much all of my images here need to be eager on the homepage specifically. I don't love that, but I'm also like, yeah, I guess that's okay. I don't really want them to be eager, but at the same time, they are above the fold, and what it's saying makes a lot of sense to me. So if I do that, I probably just, hey, look, all my accessibility and performance issues are gone. That's neat. That's also neat. That's also neat. I'm just going to say it's all kind of neat. Although I've got some issues now. These are going to be harder ones to fix. Invalid tab index on non-interactive elements. So this is interesting. What element is this? This is a code block. And it got a default tab index. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So these aren't interactable, but they have tab indexes. They should have -1, but they're getting 0. Now, I think this is an interesting moment because I don't actually control that. You might be like, what do you mean you don't control it? It's your blog. Well, yes, it's my blog. But what's happening here is my content sections here are coming from my content collection. So this is the GraphQL scalars schema one. Yeah, so it's this blog post. And this element right here is getting rendered. Now, the way that this is getting rendered is via either Remark or Rehype. I always forget which one with Astro. It might even be Shiki. So this is this is very interesting as a concept. So Astro Markdown. Let's go see what it says. Actually, we want to leave that open. It's probably this. So Markdown is commonly used. They use the YAML Astro MDX integration. We're doing all this. We're very happy with all this. The question becomes custom components with imported MDX. That's not what we're doing here. Configuring Markdown and MDX. Markdown support is powered by Remark. That's the one we're looking for. So if we need to change code blocks, it might be Markdown code style. Effectively what we're trying to do, and this is where I got to figure out what Remark does out of the box, but it's doing the code blocks for me. And it's got syntax highlighting for my blocks, and I'm using the GitHub dark mode. That's why these look this way. It's just GitHub dark mode. I got all that working at one point. And that's a cheeky configuration. Which also tells me that maybe, oh, fun fact, they got rid of rehype. They got rid of rehype. So all of my rehype plugins aren't working anymore. So I actually have a regression here. Let's see what they say about rehype. Were used to process Markdown. Astro unified to V11 and other Remark have to the latest version. If you use custom Remark packages, update all of them to the latest version. Yeah, so all these are broken now, and that makes me sad. But let's just say Astro Markdown code blocks rendering inappropriate tab index. Let's just see what happens. I don't know if there's going to be anything in here about it, but bye, Linda. We're probably going to wrap soon too, just for everybody else. I'm hitting that point in the night where I need to log off, I think. But that won't be super long. Okay, so we want to fix this. This might be next week's problem, but I want to try to fix it today if I can. It'd be nice if we'd fix the copy code bit. Do y'all have something next week? Or are you just saying you're going to show up back here next week? I'll take the latter, but I hope y'all are actually hanging out in person. So there's something in here, and I guess I just need to go look at my packages now. So I have these rehype settings. I wonder if they're just broken because I'm not on the latest. So let's go look. What is their latest version? 1.710. That's what I'm on. So this is broken all of a sudden. Now, it might be broken just because these aren't clickable, but I should be able to do what are custom scalars in theory. So that works. Oh, that's so awesome. Yay. I'm glad y'all are getting to hang out. All seriousness. Love, love, love. I hope y'all enjoy hanging out. Have a lot of fun. Okay, so this plugin, if I remember, it's supposed to make it so each of these is actually clickable and it'll actually give you the anchor for it. But it's supposed to be auto link headings. That's what it's supposed to do. It's not working though. So I did something wrong. And I don't know what I did wrong. What did I do wrong? Oh no, I did it wrong. So it's supposed to be rehype auto link headings, and it's supposed to prepend, but it's not taking. And let's just see if in the docs at all, if I look for rehype plugins. So they changed it? Oh no. Pass rehype plugins to customize how your markdown is processed. You can import and apply plugin function recommended or pass the plugin name as a string. And this is in this markdown object. Is this, what is this? This is the configuration object. Okay. Now I'm scared. Now I'm scared things are really broken. So this would go markdown, rehype plugins, and then it's an array. And then you're supposed to be able to just pass in these elements. This all makes sense to me. What's the difference between Prism and Shiki? I've never actually understood that. Also, do you know if they well, here, let's see. Let's see if there's a reference. So in Astro V3, a Shiki language passed to Markdown Shiki was automatically converted to Shiki compatible language. Is the tooling used by Astro for syntax. Astro support for the path property of a Shiki language, which was confusing to configure. It is replaced by an import, which can be passed by directly to the langs. So I shouldn't need that. So that's cool. So I don't have to change that. Is there anything about remark in here? So it said Astro unified to 11 of unified. That shouldn't be bothering me. If you use custom remark repack, update all of them to the latest version using your package manager to ensure unified v11. The packages you are using can be found in Astro config. This may not be any significant breaking changes if you actively update packages. I don't think this is working for me. I'm going to be really sad because that kind of stinks because these were actually kind of cool plugins I was using. But let's try it. Let's just restart the server, do it all over again. I don't think that should have done anything, but we'll find out. So if I come here, refresh. Oop. Yeah, it's not linking them anymore. This makes me sad. And it's still making these super tappable. So we need to fix that. That's important. These might be to-dos for next time. We'll do some well, actually we can do this. So this is eager load images above the fold. And this can be update remark or rehype plugins, which did not work. But we can push all that up and just be happy that it works kind of out of the box. And I think that'll make everything work here. I'm super sad about this though. If both of these are broken, that would just be a bad day. Well, that one's still working, so that's good news. But my the fact these aren't working makes me sad. Yeah. Makes me sad. That's super sad. Okay. I'm frustrated, but I'm also curious how we could fix this. So it's really remark, set code block, tab index to -1. Setting effect greater for effectively takes it out of the tab order. And that's on React Bootstrap table. Remark markdown. Huh. Okay. So this is doing something. I would have assumed that this was remark, but maybe it's not remark. Let's Let's see if it's a problem with Shiki. Tab index minus. Also, is it Shiki G? No, it was just Shiki. Huh. This is frustrating. You would have thought this would have been just a thing. I don't know who's rendering this, and that's the thing that's bothering me the most. Is it Remark? Is it Rehype? Or is it somebody else? Is Rehype have code blocks? Ah, here we go. It is Rehype. Cool. So, is there something about tab index? Rehype tab index, maybe. So this is fixing these, but that's not what I'm looking for. Rehype plugin to add links from headings back to themselves. Yes, we want that, but this isn't working, and that's just a problem of itself. So that's going to need an update. We have the tab index -1, and this is appending. It's not this one either. It's code tab index. Okay, so let's back this up a second. We're on the repo. Let's just see something, if there's anything about tab index anywhere. No, because this is the highlight plugin and not the main plugin. And let's just see if there's anything about tab index in here. There's not. So what I think I have to do, and I'm not sure what the right way to do this, but I might have to just override what this is doing under the hood. And I don't really want to do that. So this might be a fix that I need to punt. And again, I'm getting a little tired, so I might need to settle out. And that's okay. We're going to save this as a problem for next time. And so we don't forget, here's what we're going to do. If we haven't already pushed, we're going to push. We're pushed. In here, we're going to hope that well, we were hoping that this actually picked up on what I asked it to do. Yeah, see, it's 341 and it's 59. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That was not meant to be shown on stream. Oh, well. It's fine. I don't know what we were talking about. I think we were talking about games. It's probably fine. Let's just do a quick rebase on both of these. Make sure that Dependabot is doing its job. I think it's just behind. So theoretically, we shouldn't have any open issues. But what we need to do is we'll open an issue that says investigate why code blocks on blog, and we'll put ally issue so we know what it is. Let's go with code blocks on blog have tab index 0 instead of -1. Other notable issues, Rehype plugins for auto linking headers is broken. Should we add copy code blocks to the blog? I don't know. Problems for next time. But this will be a good place that we could pick up another time. Honestly, I think just like working on this website when I'm low energy, or just like we don't have anything like we're really excited about, will just be a good way to do it. One of the things I'm looking into in the future here is adding more portfolio content. Like right now it's just my blog, but I have a lot of YouTube content. I've got a lot of podcast content. It'd be nice if y'all could find that quickly. So I want to build up this website for that, which is totally cool with me and a lot of fun. So I'm going to do that at some point. But it was nice making some fixes, and I think this is like, hey, not a big website, but has just enough functionality to be interesting. And that's how it be sometimes. I totally forgot to turn my camera back on like an hour ago. And my light was off, so it's really dark. Anyway, it's been fun, y'all. I had a really good time with you. Thank you for stopping by. I hope, well, really, I hope you got some value out of tonight. Hope you learned something. If not, come back next week and ask me a question. I'd love to get questions. I'd love to answer those for you because I think that would be a good time. And yeah, like I said, I'm low energy. That's okay. If you are low energy yourself and having a day, that's fine. Take it easy today. Enjoy your day. Oh, well, I'll miss you next week, Jessica. And it's okay because you're going to be doing something way more exciting and way more fun, which is hanging out with your coworkers, which I think is super valuable and important, and hanging out maybe with the one and only Linda. And she's super awesome, and that's totally worth it. So I hope you have a blast in Dallas. I will miss you next week, but we'll still have fun even without you. You'll just have to watch the recap. And that's okay. That's why we record these things. That's why we have VODs. If you had fun, if you're enjoying this, tell your friends. If you are interested in engaging, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on all the things. You found my website now because we worked on it together. Drop me a follow, drop me a link, say hi. And until next time, I hope you all have a lovely evening. See you next week.